So it's time to get wacky. Outrageous predictions time for Ohio State's top 3 matchup with Texas. That's Andrew. I'm Steven, and that's Stefan. Andrew, you get to go first. Get wacky for us. Get outrageous. What are you predicting that makes absolutely no sense for Ohio State's matchup with Texas?
There are two people that I have been hyping up all offseason that I could go with here. Since Ryan Day arrived at Ohio State, there has not been a tight end to go for a 100-yard game. Max Clare, 8 catches, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Max Clare is going to be Julian Sainz' comfort blanket, underneath route, open option down the field, whatever you want to call him, he's going to be there for him. Jeremiah Smith is going to be a magnet in terms of Texas defenders. They are going to throw corners at him. They're going to buzz safeties down. Linebackers are going to drop out. Everybody's going to be moving to number 4. Everybody's going to be covering Jeremiah Smith. And we have looked at that in the past and gone, Carnell Tate, Emeka Egbuka, those are the guys that are going to be the beneficiaries of this. I think Max Clare is going to be the big beneficiary of this, and not just in a sole, hey, he's running a flat route and he's going to catch 1 catch for 3 yards. Max Clare is going to be down the seam for Ohio State. You see, we're recording this at midfield. The camera is sitting on the hash marks. That's where Max Clare is going to eat, because Jeremiah, whether he's in the slot or out wide, it's going to be like a magnet to him. Everybody's going to flow to that side of the ball. And Max Clare, the best receiving tight end that I think Ryan Day has had, is going to go for 100 yards. And Ohio State is going to have Max Clare catch 8 passes for a score. You didn't believe me. We had to look.
He
that
was
up.
right by 2 yards. Well, I covered Kate Stover's career.
I know.
He had a couple of
I knew what
games.
I was doing.
Yeah, he had a couple of games where he just went kind of nuclear there.
Yeah.
He was right because Kate Stover had 98 yards, so
He
he didn't hit triple digits. That was right. I just had to make sure because, I don't know, man, Kate Stover was getting a little busy there, especially in 2023. I thought you were going to go the Davison Igbenogson route.
Pick 6, something like that. Yeah, I wasn't going to go Davison. There's time for that.
You have a problem leaning in sometimes on your things. That's fine, though. Stefan, get crazy.
So a lesson to the folks watching at home: if your dream job is ever to be a sports reporter and you're about to do an outrageous prediction video, make sure you talk with your coworkers about what your predictions are going to be, so you don't have overlap. So you're not standing here thinking on the spot of, ooh, what am I going to predict now that Andrew Gillis has predicted that Ohio State's going to have a tight end. Right before this, I was doing some research before we got to record this video, and I did the same piece of research that Gillis apparently did an hour ago or so. So I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to say that because Ohio State has a young quarterback and there are going to be bumps in the road, especially when your first opponent is an opponent of this caliber, the red zone is where young quarterbacks are tested. That is where life can become difficult, and you have to be really precise and really good and at times experienced to have consistent red zone success. And because that is going to be a bit of a curve for Julian Sainz making his first collegiate start, there might be some drives on both sides. This goes for Arch Manning as well. On both sides, that may be stall in the red zone. So Jaden Fielding is going to have the game-winning kick in the final minute for Ohio State, and Jaden Fielding will have the redemption arc. Because I don't really know what Texas's kicker situation is. Kind of interesting. You guys remember the playoff struggles they had, and Auburn, I think was his name. He ended up transferring out, and so we'll see what their special team situation looks like. But for Ohio State, Jaden Fielding said last year he was playing through a torn abductor in his right hip throughout the season. We saw the highs and lows. The Michigan game was a low, but in the playoff, especially against Oregon and Notre Dame, he looked pretty good. So what does it look like? He won the starting job here, right? He went through a competition this offseason, and Ryan Day on Tuesday said that he was going to be the team's starting kicker. In the final minute, he's going to have a game-winning kick.
That was the most I had to pivot pick I've ever heard of in my life. I respect it, though. So I've been going back and forth about the idea of, do I want to go the route of Texas is going to sell out on Jeremiah Smith again, and so he's just not going to have the day that everybody wants him to have, and so because of that, one of these other receivers will eat. That's the route you seem to be taking here. I thought about taking that route and going, oh, well, no one's talking about Brandon Ennis. Here we go. But I didn't go that route either. I think Ohio State's going to have 2 100-yard receivers on Saturday. One of them is going to be JJ. I think they're gonna move JJ around. I think part of the reason why they were able to take JJ away is because JJ was an 18-year-old. Well, no, he was 19 at that point because it was January. He was a true freshman who only knew X. Well, he's not a true freshman who only knows X now. He knows Z, and he knows the slot position as well. He is where Marvin was in 2023, which is crazy to say because Marvin was on his way out the door after 2023, and JJ has to be back here for another year. They're going to move him all over the place and get him involved. And then once they get him involved and Texas makes adjustments and goes, we got to settle out him even more. You know who's going to eat this time and he's not going to drop his touchdown pass? Carnell Tate. I think that's the receiver Texas needs to be a little bit more worried about. He had 7 for 87. That felt a little modest, right? Because it was just kind of intermediate game. Career day for Carnell Tate unloading here. The most catches he's ever had is 7. That was in that Cotton Bowl. The most touchdowns he's ever had was 2. That was against Northwestern. The most yards he's ever had was 102, and he had that against Nebraska. I don't think JJ gets in the end zone. I don't think Max Clare gets in the end zone. I don't think Brandon Ennis gets in the end zone. I think the Z position is going to be the guy who's getting a lot of the touchdowns on Saturday, and that's Carnell Tate. So at least 8 catches, at least 110 yards, and 2 scores for Carnell Tate on Saturday because Jeremiah Smith, Brandon Ennis is a leader, Max Clare, receiving weapon. All that's great. You know who's going to be the first-round draft pick off of this roster in April? Carnell Tate. And Texas is going to get a reminder of that on Saturday. He has somehow gone under the radar because everybody else has gotten clippings for a lot of different reasons. And Carnell Tate has just been Carnell Tate. He's new Emeka Ibuka. And on Saturday, he's going to do what Emeka Ibuka did to Notre Dame back in 2023, but he's actually going to get over 100 yards. 614-350-3315. It's a 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Those are our crazy, our wacky, our outrageous predictions. We got one more prediction to do, and that's the game predictions. You got to listen to Buckeye Talk to go listen to those. And then it's game time. 614-350-3315. Stefan, Andrew, Steven, see you on Saturday in the shoe. See ya.